That's something that we've discussed numerous times about going back after, and we just never have, or maybe we have. I actually have a scar right here where I fell and hit my head. It was more face forward. It was good stuff.
Viewers were left in disbelief after Jacob "Buck" Lowe, one of the most recognizable faces from Mountain Monsters, finally broke his silence. Known for his humor, loyalty, and unforgettable moments with the Ames team, Jacob has always kept a low profile outside the show. But just moments ago, a shocking announcement from him has taken fans by storm. What he revealed could change everything viewers thought they knew about the series, the crew, and his own future. Before we dive into the details of what Jacob Lowe just said, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on all notifications, because what follows is something every Mountain Monsters fan deserves to know. Moments after his video went live, Jacob Lowe's statement began spreading rapidly across social media. Fans who had followed Mountain Monsters from its early days couldn't believe their eyes. The man who once stood shoulder to shoulder with Trapper, Huckleberry, Jeff, and Willie was now speaking with an emotion few had ever seen from him. Jacob began by addressing the rumors that had surrounded the show for years, everything from mysterious production halts to off-camera conflicts. He admitted that the world of Mountain Monsters wasn't just about chasing legends. It was about confronting personal demons and surviving in a dangerous lifestyle that blurred the line between myth and reality. In his words, "Some things we found out there weren't meant to be found." He spoke of nights deep in the Appalachian woods when strange noises echoed through the trees long after filming had ended, when cameras were turned off but something, or someone, kept watching. Jacob confessed there were moments when even the most skeptical crew members couldn't explain what they had seen. Fans always believed the show exaggerated events for entertainment, but Jacob's tone made it clear that there was much more behind the scenes. He revealed that the Ames team had been asked to keep certain discoveries off the air due to safety and legal reasons. "We were told not to dig deeper," he said, his voice trembling, but Trapper wouldn't let it go. That single sentence set off a storm of speculation. Was Jacob referring to something the late John "Trapper" Tice had found before his death? Did the team stumble upon something bigger than folklore? Jacob didn't give all the answers right away, but he made it clear this was not a publicity stunt. He said this moment had been coming for years, ever since the day the crew decided to continue the series without their leader. As he spoke, a mix of grief and determination filled his words. He looked directly at the camera and said, "Trapper left us something, and I think it's time the world knew what it was." Those final words were enough to send fans and fellow hunters into a frenzy. Something was hidden, something that connected Trapper's legacy to the truth Jacob was finally ready to share. The question now wasn't if he would reveal it, but when. As the video continued, Jacob Lowe took a deep breath before revealing that the Ames team had been keeping a secret since the final season they filmed together. He said that just weeks before Trapper passed away, the crew had discovered a sealed wooden chest hidden deep inside a cave in West Virginia's Tigard Valley, an area known to fans as one of their most dangerous hunting grounds. The chest was wrapped in an old canvas tarp, and according to Jacob, it wasn't placed there recently. The thing looked like it had been buried and dug up more than once, he said. Trapper had insisted they bring it back to camp, though some of the crew didn't want to touch it. When they opened the chest, inside were old journals, animal bones, and what looked like hand-drawn maps connecting several of their past hunt sites. But the strangest thing was a weathered photograph of a group of men standing in front of a cabin that none of them recognized. On the back of the photo were the words, "They're still watching." Jacob said that Trapper became obsessed with those documents, spending nights studying them by lantern light, muttering about the Watchers of the Woods. None of the crew understood what he meant at the time, but after his passing, strange things began happening. Jacob described nights when he heard distant howls that didn't sound like coyotes or wolves, and times when they returned to filming locations only to find freshly dug holes where the chest had once been hidden. At first, they thought it was fans or pranksters, but Jacob claimed the local authorities confirmed no one had been seen near their campsites. "That's when I started feeling like this wasn't about folklore anymore," he said. He admitted the production crew had been warned to stay quiet about it. Some of the footage showing what happened after they found the chest was reportedly deleted from the final episodes. Jacob claimed he still had copies of those recordings, kept on hard drives hidden away since 2020. "They told us the show was entertainment," he said, But what we caught on those tapes, it wasn't staged. His revelation stunned the audience. For years, mountain monsters had walked the line between mystery and reality TV. But now Jacob was hinting that something or someone had wanted to keep the truth buried. And if what he said next was true, that secret might finally be coming to light. Jacob Lowe leaned forward, his expression darkening as he began describing what happened after they found Trapper's hidden chest. He said the team had planned to film a follow-up expedition, returning to each marked location on the maps they found. But the deeper they went into those woods, the stranger things became. Their radios began to malfunction, batteries drained within minutes. GPS devices pointed them in circles. Jacob recalled one specific night when they were camping near an abandoned mine shaft, one of the sites circled on the old map. At around 2 a.m., Willie suddenly woke everyone up, claiming he saw a lantern swinging in the trees just a few yards away. But when they shone their flashlights, there was nothing, only the sound of branches snapping in the distance. The next morning, Jeff noticed that the chest they had brought along was open, even though it had been locked the night before. Inside, one of the journals was missing. Jacob admitted that this was the moment the team started falling apart. Some wanted to stop filming altogether, while others believed they were close to uncovering the mystery that had haunted Trapper for years. The production company allegedly intervened, ordering them to abandon the project due to safety concerns. But Jacob said the crew felt something else was at play. Someone didn't want them to continue. Not long after that, the show was temporarily pulled from the schedule without warning. "That's when I knew something was wrong," Jacob said. He explained that he received a phone call from an unknown number a few days later. The caller warned him to leave the Tigard Valley alone. He thought it was a prank until the following week, when he discovered that his truck tires had been slashed and a dead animal was found near his property line. Jacob said it wasn't just him. Other members of the Ames team experienced similar threats. Huckleberry's hunting cameras were stolen, and Willie's shed was broken into. None of it made the news, but the message was clear. They had touched something forbidden. For months, Jacob wrestled with fear and guilt. He said he wanted to protect his friends, but the truth kept eating away at him. Trapper told us before he died that if anything ever happened, the world needed to know what he found. Jacob confessed, "I think this is that time." His voice cracked slightly as he looked away from the camera, visibly shaken by the memories. He said he was finally ready to release the evidence Trapper left behind, and that it would prove once and for all that what they were chasing wasn't folklore or fiction, but something far older and far more real. The world just wasn't ready for it then, but now, Jacob claimed, they had no choice. Jacob Lowe said he couldn't keep the secret anymore, especially after what happened earlier this year. He revealed that he revisited one of the map locations, an area deep within the Tigard Valley where the original chest was first found. He went alone, without a camera crew, or even his truck marked with the Mountain Monsters logo. He wanted to see if the area still held any trace of what Trapper had discovered. It was supposed to be a simple trip, Jacob said, his eyes heavy, but nothing about it felt right from the moment I got there. The forest was unnaturally quiet. He described how the trees seemed to bend inward, forming a kind of natural arch over the narrow dirt trail. As he made his way deeper, he found signs that someone, or something, had been there recently. There were muddy boot prints beside claw marks on a nearby oak tree. At first, he assumed it was just a bear, until he noticed that the spacing between the prints didn't make sense. Whatever made them walked upright. Then, about 2 miles in, he stumbled upon a clearing that hadn't been there before. In the center was a mound of rocks, stacked deliberately. On top sat the missing journal from Trapper's chest, completely dry despite the rain. "That's when I knew this wasn't a coincidence," Jacob whispered. He picked up the journal and noticed a strange symbol drawn on the first page, 3 interlocking circles with an arrow piercing through them. He'd never seen it before, but when he showed a photo of it to Huckleberry later, his reaction was immediate and fearful. "That's the same mark we found carved into the tree line during the Knobby Beast investigation," Huckleberry told him. It was a chilling connection that linked multiple hunts across years of the show's history. Jacob began reading the journal and realized Trapper had been documenting encounters that were never aired, cases where witnesses disappeared or refused to speak publicly. One entry mentioned a group of silent men who followed their movements during early filming seasons, observing but never interfering. The handwriting at the end of the entry trembled, as if written in a rush. "They're not protecting the woods. They're protecting what's inside. Jacob said those words haunted him for months. He had planned to turn the journal over to the network, but when he reached out, they told him to let the past stay buried. That was the breaking point. He decided to take matters into his own hands and started gathering all the old footage, photos, and maps Trapper had hidden. Jacob hinted that he was working with a small independent filmmaker to release everything as a tell-all documentary, but someone tried to stop it. His emails were hacked. His footage was erased from cloud backups. "I don't know who's behind it," Jacob said, "but they know what we found." His next statement sent chills through every viewer. "If anything happens to me after this video, it's because I finally told the truth." Jacob Lowe's words carried a weight that even longtime fans weren't prepared for. His voice trembled slightly as he explained that after his footage mysteriously vanished, he began noticing unmarked vehicles parked near his property late at night. They'd stay for hours, he said. Engine off, lights off, just watching. He tried calling the police, but by the time officers arrived, the vehicles were gone. At first, he thought it might be obsessive fans or pranksters trying to scare him, but one morning, he found a folded note under his windshield. It had no signature, only that same symbol he'd seen in Trapper's journal, the 3 interlocking circles with the piercing arrow. "That's when I realized this wasn't just about our show," he said. "It was about something much older, something that's been here long before any of us started hunting." Jacob revealed that he dug deeper into the symbol's origins, reaching out to local historians and even folklore professors in West Virginia. One expert told him it resembled markings tied to pre-colonial warning symbols used by early settlers to mark forbidden land. According to the legend, these areas weren't just cursed, they were guarded. Jacob recalled one chilling story a historian shared with him about an old Appalachian tale called The Keepers of the Hollow, a group of reclusive men who protected ancient burial sites hidden deep within the forest. Anyone who trespassed risked disappearing without a trace. What unnerved Jacob most was how the tale matched what Trapper had written decades later, without ever hearing that folklore. "It's like he stumbled into something he wasn't supposed to find," Jacob said. As the months went by, Jacob tried to contact the rest of the Ames team to regroup, but several of them had gone silent. Willie refused to talk about the chest, while Jeff reportedly told him he'd burned his copies of Trapper's maps for fear of what might happen. Huckleberry, however, stood by Jacob. Together, they planned one final trip back to the Tigard Valley, this time to document everything from start to finish without network involvement. But before they could even leave, Jacob claimed that their camera gear was stolen from his storage shed and their GPS trackers were destroyed. "It felt like someone was always one step ahead," he said. He looked into the camera with a grave expression and said, "Trapper warned us this would happen if we tried to dig too deep." Fans watching could sense his exhaustion. This wasn't a man promoting a new season or chasing views. This was a man who looked genuinely haunted. "We thought we were hunting monsters," Jacob said, his voice barely above a whisper. "But I think the real monsters were the ones making sure we never told the world what we found." That final line sent shockwaves across social media, sparking theories that the Mountain Monsters crew had uncovered something far beyond folklore, something that certain people were willing to keep hidden at any cost. Jacob Lowe said the night before he filmed his confession was the first time he truly believed he might not make it out alive. He and Huckleberry had finally decided to go public with what remained of Trapper's evidence. But hours before uploading the files, Jacob's power went out, his home security system shut down, and his phone lost service completely. "I looked outside and saw headlights through the trees," he said. "They weren't moving, just sitting there." He grabbed his flashlight and stepped onto the porch. But before he could reach the edge of his driveway, the lights vanished. Moments later, his dog began barking frantically toward the woods. The next morning, Jacob found fresh footprints behind his house, larger than any he'd ever seen, with deep impressions like something heavy had been standing there for a long time. That was when he decided enough was enough. He packed his laptop, the journals, and Trapper's original maps into a metal case and drove through the night to meet Huckleberry in a remote cabin. Together, they recorded hours of footage explaining everything they knew about the Watchers, the Keepers, and the unseen forces that Trapper had warned them about. Jacob said they agreed that if anything happened to either of them, the files would be automatically uploaded to multiple servers across the country. "We weren't going to be silenced," he said. But after that meeting, Huckleberry vanished for 2 days without contact. When he finally returned Jacob's call, he sounded shaken and paranoid. He told Jacob he'd been followed, and that someone had tried to break into his truck. "They know," Huckleberry whispered. Before hanging up, Jacob said that was the moment he realized this story wasn't just about monsters. It was about control, about people who would rather destroy everything than let the truth reach the public. "Trapper died chasing answers," Jacob said. "Now it's up to us to finish what he started." His eyes glistened as he looked directly into the camera. "If you're watching this," he said, "it means we made it, or it means they finally caught up." Jacob Lowe's confession reached a breaking point when he said there was one final piece of evidence he hadn't yet revealed: the recording Trapper made just days before his passing. Jacob claimed that the footage had been hidden on an old camcorder found inside Trapper's cabin, labeled simply, "For the Boys." When Jacob played the tape, he said Trapper appeared weak but determined, sitting at a wooden table covered in maps and sketches. In the video, Trapper warned the team that the hunts they filmed were only scratching the surface of something far more dangerous. "These things we've been chasing, they're not alone," Trapper said. "There's a reason we keep finding the same markings in different counties. They move underground, and they've been doing it for generations." Jacob said the recording cut off after Trapper mentioned a place called the Red Hollow, one of the last sites circled on the mysterious map. Determined to verify it, Jacob and Huckleberry located the spot weeks later. It was an overgrown ravine miles off any known trail. What they found inside left them speechless. A network of tunnels carved into the rock, filled with strange symbols identical to the ones in Trapper's journal. Deep inside one of the tunnels was a massive wooden door sealed shut with chains. "We didn't open it," Jacob admitted, "but something was moving behind it." He said they both heard low growls echoing through the chamber. Too deep to be human, too steady to be an animal. They fled that night, but Jacob confessed he hasn't slept properly since. "Whatever's in those tunnels," he said, "it's still alive, and it knows we found it." He ended his statement by warning fans never to go looking for the Red Hollow. "This isn't TV anymore," he said. "This is real, and if you go there, you won't come back." Jacob Lowe ended his message with a tone of finality that chilled everyone who watched. He said this would be his last public statement about the events surrounding Trapper's discovery and the Red Hollow. His voice grew softer as he explained that the world wasn't ready to handle what truly lived beneath those mountains. "We spent years chasing legends," he said, "but legends are just warnings disguised as stories." He revealed that after his encounter in the tunnels, he and Huckleberry sealed the entrance with rocks and concrete, marking it with the same warning symbol from the journal. "If anyone finds that place," Jacob warned, "they'll know by the carvings that it's not meant to be opened." He admitted the footage of that night still exists, stored on a physical drive in multiple undisclosed locations, and that one day, if he and Huckleberry disappear, it will be made public automatically. "This isn't about fame or fear anymore," Jacob said. "It's about finishing what Trapper started and protecting the people who don't know what's out there." He paused, visibly emotional, before saying that the Ames team was like a family, and that no matter what happens next, he hopes fans remember them not as hunters of monsters, but as men who tried to uncover the truth when no one else would. "We've lost too many," he whispered, "and I'm not going to let Trapper's legacy die in silence." The video ended abruptly, cutting to black, after Jacob looked over his shoulder as if someone had entered the room. Since posting the video, Jacob Lowe has not uploaded or responded to any messages. His social media pages remain active but silent, with fans flooding the comments asking if he's safe. Whether his story was a warning, a confession, or something deeper, one thing is certain: the mystery surrounding mountain monsters has only grown darker. And now, everyone is wondering, what exactly did Jacob Lowe and Trapper Tice really uncover in those Appalachian woods?